everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Healing Hour. Today we have our very, very special, divine, beautiful guest, Miss Faith. And Miss Faith is definitely the embodiment of the divine feminine. So she's definitely one of the most spiritually in tuned people that I have met on this journey so far. So she's going to speak to us today about some of the things that she's learned during her journey.
Well, thank you. Thank you for saying that. It means a lot to hear that and like that reflection, because I see you and I see that energy as well with you. Like I see that you're very bossy and still spiritually and grounded. So I'm grateful to see that reflection. I guess like I'll start like my journey. I guess our journey starts when we're born, right?
Right.
You know, or even prior before, when you really kind of like tap into that, and we realize that like who we are isn't really dictated by our construct that's been constructed by the male patriarchy. So for my journey, I guess it started really, I would say really kind of like when I really started tapping in is when I switched to being vegan more, and I kind of started microdosing mushrooms, and I was able to really tap back in to who I am and my connection to the earth. And so I know when I tapped right within my connection to the earth, that really helped me flow more so in all of that.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna pause it real quick. I'm just gonna have you speak into a little more because I was like, I was losing you.
Okay.
All right. Let me move it towards that.
Okay,
cool. And okay, well that's awesome. So to give us a little bit more information about like tapping into veganism, because that was one of the things that kicked off my spiritual journeys as well, was the energies that I was taking in and all the hormones and all the emotions of the meat that I was eating. So whenever I did turn vegan, which like disclaimer, now I'm a pescatarian. Like now I'm just like I'm gonna eat what I wanted-tarian, which I'm gonna fix again. I'm going back vegan again. But whenever I was vegan, I found I was the most spiritually in tuned.
So, I understand that completely though, because as I've gotten more on my vegan journey, I actually allow myself more freedom. That like if sometimes I'm somewhere and like that dessert looks bomb, I'm like, you know what? I'm just not gonna ask questions because I already know.
Right.
So sometimes I do allow that freedom, because even being like deemed vegan, can still kind of bring that box, and like even like I say, like our world, like that patriarchal box is like the opposite of what the feminine is, the flow. So yeah, like I kind of transferred into veganism. I had a friend, and all three of us during COVID, we had kind of like, we're like, okay, we're gonna just tap in and lean into this. And through leaning in, we're sorry. Look, we stayed vegan still to this day. And then when I got pregnant with my daughter too, her father was vegan, and so I really wanted to give my daughter that basis of being vegan, because that's something I almost wish I had to like start off, because how good I felt when I went vegan too. I really think that's why I was even able to get pregnant, was because I was able to cleanse my body, cleanse everything out, like you said, hormones, and tapping into spirit and tapping into self. When I realized, like you're saying, the energy that we consume, we're consuming animals that necessarily aren't treated correctly, so we get all that energy into us. And then even thinking about like how they're processed and the energy, and that's why prayer over our food, that's where that comes from, is like blessing the food and setting the intention. And so when I really was just more mindful of what I consume, I even kind of went to more of a raw diet when I was like at my like not peak, but like real beginning of mine, and I fasted a lot too. So through fasting, I was able to get so much clarity, because like on like a 10-day fast, like your third day into the fast, you're like you feel everything you feel, and you can't hide behind food, where like I feel like a lot of times in society we're so conditioned just to eat all the time that we don't even understand the emotional connection we have to food.
Right.
And so so that's kind of how I started my vegan journey. And then even my baby, she's kept me on it because she's vegan.
Aww.
So I breastfeed her still, so I like to make sure her milk is vegan. So yeah.
That is so awesome. So do you feel like, because personally, when I started to like double and dabble back into meat, like every time that like I do consume like a piece of like animal, I instantly start feeling depressed. Like I start feeling like sugar honey iced tea. Like I start feeling terrible. And whenever I go back to, consuming like I was like, I wouldn't consider myself completely raw back then, but it was definitely like I was consuming a lot more things that I didn't have to cook. So it was like it was all fresh. Like you felt the difference in like my energy. Like everything was it just felt so pure because it didn't have all the corruptions of like like supply chain food.
In like the industry and how they handle it.
Yes.
Also too, I had read like, so each type of food, like everything has a frequency, right? And it says like fruits and vegetables have like, I forget the name of what it's called, but it's like instead of calories, it's like an actual way to count like the energy of something. And fresh fruits and fruits have the highest. So like when you eat that, you're literally raising your vibration. Whereas like food that's dead, has no vibration. It's literally dead, and they're like just that. And so that's probably like where that kind of comes from. When I was pregnant, though, I definitely felt the time when I wanted more like meat and all of that. But I just realized it was because I wasn't eating enough of like the supplement, like protein or amino, something like that I needed. And even now, when I like sometimes might want to eat fish, I kind of let myself have the freedom. Like if I go to a restaurant and I think I might, and I kind of energetically, when I sometimes see it, I change my mind. So I've gotten to that point now where it's like, okay, yeah, maybe, and then I see it and I'm like, okay, no. But I feel like the journey is definitely a journey because I didn't turn vegan like overnight.
Yeah.
I had gone back and forth over the course of years, and like I said, my daughter's the one who really pushed me to stay on the vegan path.
So tell me a little bit more about I haven't had the pleasure of being a mother yet, so my day has not come. But I always, as a spiritual, energetic person, I've always wondered, what does that process energetically feel like to bring life into the world? Because didn't you have a very like unique like birth rate?
I had her at home, actually.
Yes, I was gonna say, like, I think you did have it at home. So how did you as a woman feel energetically bringing a life? Like, what was that experience like?
Well, actually, I'm about to cry.
It was strong.
That's how
like,
it feels.
long story short, it was strong.
It was strong. Really, I feel like I was really inducted into like my divine. That's when you say stepping into my divine femininity, like that moment right there. Like I brought life. Like I'm a divine goddess. I just brought forth a life to this world.
Right.
And even that whole process, it's such a spiritual journey from like when your contractions are there. And I actually had the opportunity. I had one friend there, two of the midwives, and my mom. And so really it was me. And at the point, like I wasn't in contact with the baby's dad. And so I was really able to be present in the situation. Like I'm super grateful for that opportunity because I was able to be so present with myself. And even for my labor to progress, I had to release certain things that I was holding on to. There was a point when I had to release a feeling that I felt. I was like, oh, I feel this way. And when I said it, I threw up. And then within the next hour, the baby came. So it's interesting how much our emotional state is in control of like birthing. And it really helped me realize too that like fear is what would slow birthing down. And even how beautiful our bodies are and how strong our bodies are. So like I was in labor for like probably over 48 hours. And there was a point when my contractions slowed down to the point where it let me rest. And if I was in like a hospital, they would have definitely been like cut her open. But because I was at home, I was able to sit in the water and I was able to just rest and be and get that energy to bring her forth. And having that faith, no pun intended,
right?
that she's okay and knowing that I can do this. Because like it was interesting, a lot of people were like, oh, well, that's so dangerous. And I never ever once thought that, like, and just knowing that I could do it really was what brought me there. And so I would suggest, whenever that time comes for you, a home birth, definitely, because when you're able to be in your energy and in your space and tapping in, I even at one point actually, I called my godmother and she's a doula. I called her and she was like, play some like African drum, like tribal music, like to pump you up like a warrior almost. Because like there's a point when I was getting tired, and I'm telling you that helped me like get back in my circuit, keep going. And so just tapping into all parts of being in the feminine, right? Because being the feminine isn't just, oh, we're so flowy in that. It's our strength, it's our power too. And definitely like birthing, it shows all sides. It shows that you have to flow, but you also have to push. So yeah, so that was that experience for me. I'm super grateful for it. I'd love to have another experience of it again, just because I understand now where I could have released more and where I was holding myself back energetically. And so, yeah, I even will like reference my birth now to this day, because it's almost like it's like a lesson of your life. Like it's almost like a story. So yeah.
Awesome.
My birth.
So I feel like women have so much to tap into, and whenever we speak about femininity, we always speak about the softness that comes with femininity. We always speak about the gentleness, but in reality, I feel like femininity is everything but.
It's chaos.
It's chaos. Like it's beauty.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally beauty personified. But femininity is literally being able to harness a whole life. Like, I'm sorry, men, but y'all can't do that. I'm sorry. Like, y'all aren't able to literally manifest and see this manifestation come to life. So it's like there's so much manifestation power that comes with us. So it's like we have all the tools that we need to bring our ideas forth.
We're the literal portal.
We're literally a portal.
Like we're literally
we are in the portal.
Yeah, like I think that's under the huge part of femininity is understanding like we are the portal. And even like in a relationship, even with a man, right, they lead, but we're the portal. So when they're going to manifest, that's what divine partnership is, right? The man leading, but you're that divine feminine energy, because they literally channel through us. I was kind of leading into this a little bit earlier. I had gotten a download the other day, and it was really me tapping into like who I am as a goddess, as a woman in this incarnation, and like who I am. I was like, wow, like we're nurturers because everything comes through us. So even the downloads, and even sexually, when you think about it, a man doesn't experience an orgasm directly. We do. They experience it secondhand from us. So, because they're inside of us, we're the vessel. So this is like in all things. So even a manifestation, right? Like, and that's a whole other topic, like using feminine energy for sex magic. But that is like its own manifestation process too, because we're tapping in. When you think of like the divine masculine and feminine coming together, like what is God? God is all. So when two are coming together, when two come together in one in my name, like you think like you're in a godly space, you're in a sacred space. And so what is the sacred space though? Our womb space. Because our womb space is what brings life. Our womb space brings someone from the ether to this realm.
Right.
We don't even know what our child's going to look like, but we love them. When you talk about faith, I know my baby's going to come out, and I know I'm going to love my baby. You know, I don't know what my baby's going to look like. I don't know what they're going to sound like, you know, but you know that, like, that's what's about to happen. And even the faith that your body can create and just produce a child, and then afterwards having faith that like you can stand back, like look, now that's a whole another concept too. So I think like when we really look at ourselves as like the portal and the vessel and honor ourselves in that way, that helps us also tap back into the divine feminine, because it's like, wow, this is literally a portal between heaven and earth.
And it also sometimes when I reflect to myself, I'm almost like, okay, it's almost unfair that y'all get to not all of y'all. Not all of y'all. Like, don't get any ideas. Like, not all of y'all get to experience all this. Oh my God, in my pants. But the few lucky ones. I'm like, yo, like, you really get to feel my womb, like my place of my source of power. Like, and I think that's something that as I started doing more energy work with myself, I started being way more stingier with my sex partners, right? Because I'm like, what makes you think you deserve all this, you know, this energy? And just like, I hate to say it like this, but just how y'all act after y'all get it is proof enough. It's proof enough that it has impacted you in a major way. So it's almost like, how do you create, like, and then also, like, I guess this is a loaded question. One, like, how do you create a sacred womb space to where it's, you know what I'm saying, like, you're a healed divine feminine? And then two, how do you rebuild a healthy womb space after giving birth? Because I know there has to be a lot energetically taken out of a woman.
Well, I like that. That's a really good question. Make me think here. Well, with the womb space, I feel like we're always healing. And I think that's something in all healing, we're always healing. And we're always going to be using that. Honoring where you're at, it goes like with accountability and honesty and acceptance. Accepting that this is where I'm at, I'm accountable for where I'm at, so I can take the initiative to be where I want to be. And knowing that, like, in my womb space, I actually had I had a really cool opportunity after I had my baby. Like I said, I'm very glad that it's me and her, because I had a whole different experience. Like, I was able to really focus on myself and on my healing. And so I wasn't, like, having sex with nobody until, like, over, like, my baby was a year. And so I hadn't had sex in over a year and a half. And by taking that time and really just sitting with my womb, I had did, like, yoni steams. I talked to her mentally. Like, I talked to, like, my womb space, like, I talked to him when my baby was there, and knowing, and like, just even when I do like my meditation, when you use that energy, like you tap in with that sacral, like, and you visualize the energy within there, and you use that energy and raise it up. And I think that for me has helped me like really understand like the energy that's coming through there. And even to do that, right, you have to go through the root to get to your sacral chakra. Right. And then even our womb, it isn't just, it's not just the sacral chakra. It's the root, it's the solar plexus and the sacral. Like, it's those right, that whole area. And so knowing who we are helps us tap into our womb space. And so for me, like I said, I do yoni steams, I go to the spa. Being vegan, juicing's huge.
Yes.
Like, juicing's keep it fresh. I mean, eating a mango every day too. Let me put y'all on. Look, I'm just saying, a mango a day. They talk about them apple, but a mango a day is the way to go. Let me just say that. And even with myself, exploring my body again and giving myself permission, and to be like, okay, well, I can explore my body. What do I like with me? And so I can communicate that to someone else. Because
right.
How can someone else know what I would like if I don't know what I like within my body? And so, and even like with my womb space, giving it time to recover, because I'm still breastfeeding, so I didn't have a cycle for a long time. And so when my cycle came back, I was so excited. I was actually really excited, because I was like, oh, now I can track it. And even just understanding our cycle is how we release toxins. And our cycle tells us a lot about the health of our body and where we're at. So like honoring my cycle when she came back, you know, that was huge too. So I feel like that helped me after I had my baby. I also I do like mini Kegels. I have what are those eggs? Those yoni eggs. Yeah. Prior to the baby I used it. I haven't since I've had the baby, just because I haven't really I just haven't felt called to use it quite yet. But that's also another thing you could do to like use and retain. And again, like just showering myself with love and loving my body and knowing that like I created life, released life, and now I'm back and I'm here. And honestly, I still feel like even within my so our core, like my midsection, I'm still working on making sure that I'm in tune and feeling everything that I need.
I definitely, it's crazy because I did this like very similar things. I had some womb trauma. I had a lot of womb trauma. Like, I know this is dark to laugh at that, but like now we get to laugh. It's okay, we get to laugh. But I had a lot of womb trauma, just from things that women are subjected to, not just invading of our womb space without permission. Pregnancy and things, and so I had to heal. I had to just buckle down and heal from that. And when I set my intentions, as I was literally like had my hands like on my womb, I literally started giving myself permission and validating myself as I was speaking to the womb, as you said. And the flow of emotions, like I just literally started bawling crying for all of the years that like all the guilt, shame just literally started pouring out of my body, as well as like I think that for me was like my biggest breakthrough with the yoni steam. And then the yoni steams definitely help, like the herbs that I steamed with, and then just like the meditations that I would do while steaming, and then the yoni eggs. Man, I did the yoni egg with the obsidian.
Ooh.
And I thought it was gonna be all cute and stuff. Like I thought it was gonna be like, okay, I'm about to put this thing in there and then do my little squeegee, and then do my little squeegee, and I'm gonna come out healed on the other side. That was one of the worst emotional releases. I was thinking like, oh, it's gonna be like, it's gonna attract something like healing to me, when really it just made me release. And I think having that specific stone in that space, literally just bawling, crying, like broke down in front of people I should not have broke down in front of.
I mean, you release, like, no shame in releasing, but wow.
And then now, like, when I want to channel my womb space, like, I wear, like, a lot of yellows, oranges, eat things that are yellow and orange, and, like, trying to bring out my feminine colors more. And I feel like even that heals me. Like, it's so healing. So it's like, we're just, I don't know, I just love women.
I mean, like
look at what we can do.
Really, I'm like, we're so magical. Like, when you think about, like, magic, I'm like, that's why I feel like, I'm gonna be mindful about talking about this, but that's why being a woman is so important, and having a womb space, you can't deny that. Like, when you have a womb space, you have a womb space that's given from the divine. So, and like that power, I feel like that's why, like, we're kind of in the world where we are, and there's the attack on the womb space as much as there is, and controlling it and defining and defining what it is, even, right? Like, to be a woman, you have a womb, right? So, like, even in that sense. So I think it's beautiful to be, and I'm so glad to be on here and be able to talk about our womb spaces and hearing how you use the obsidian, because I use jade, and jade was a little bit different of an energy, but I did feel like definitely had release, and like I did feel like I wanted to cry, and then when you were saying about the colors, like orange and yellow, so in like the Orisha goddess Oshun, those are her colors, right?
Yes.
And she's known for being like the goddess of sweetness, of all things honey, sticky, sweet, wet waters. And when you think about it, that's sensuality, and she's actually really known for that. She was known to have like the waters of the earth, and like when she had the waters and the men weren't appreciating it, she took them back, and the men were like, hold up, wait, everything's gonna die without you here, without the water. And then she came back when they understood it, and I feel like we're still in that constant state within humanity too, right? And I think it starts with us honoring our femininity for men to even then step forward, because the way we honor our womb space, and like you said, releasing guilt, when we release that guilt, no one else can put that there.
Right.
No one else, like even in sisterhood, I feel like that's something too, where we don't shame each other for how we move, and just loving each other, be like, yo sis, like you feminine flowing woman, like do you. And I feel like that's really important too, because there is a lot of like guilt from a young age that women are put on about how we use or what we do, and really it's our portal, and this is our life to learn how to use it and be here with it.
Yes, and I think that's like so essential, is learning how to use. And so I feel like you said, like there is an attack on the womb, and I also feel like there is an attack on feminine energy, where we've been having to switch back and forth between our masculine and feminine energies, and it just feels so unnatural. When I have to do that, it just feels so unnatural. I mean, we both have both energies living within us, but when I feel my masculine energy taking over, it's like, okay, this doesn't feel nice. I don't feel well in a masculine space, and I feel like with our society, they're pushing that upon women.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and like, what do you think about that?
I think they're doing it because they know the power of the woman. Because if you get us out of our feminine, out of our magic, now we're so focused on hustling and bustling and just not being there that we almost aren't able to tap into it the same way.
Right.
We don't take that time. You know, even, I'll be real, even with the whole like, F ninjas, get money, like, that's even a very masculine kind of space. Like, I get it, because I've said it before. So hold up, like, don't think I've never said this.
Girl.
Like, I've been there. And even, I'll be real, when I go through heartbreak, I get in that space. I'm like, oh, when I go through heartbreak, that's the first place I go. I say, oh, I'm Mr. Faith.
Period.
Mr. Faith's back. Because you know what?
Because we're Sagittarius, and that's what we do. That's what we do.
You know, like when I go through that, no matter what it is, like, you know, like when I feel... Because it's a lack of safety, right?
Yeah.
That's what...
A lack of safety, that's where that comes from.
And security and stability. And I think, you know, like it is important for us to create that within ourselves, but also creating a community where that's safe. And, you know, I feel a lot of times with men, even with men in like a conscious community, we're all learning how to be within one another, but honoring the woman and not necessarily having to like be sexual with a woman is very important because that's safe. Like, a lot of women who have like daddy wounds need a father, not you to fuck her. Oops, sorry. Can I say that?
Go ahead.
You feel me? Like, and that's a real thing. And you know, I'm grateful that I have like God, like godfathers or like father figures who give me that space and give me that energy, and I don't feel like I have like I can't be me around them. But I think that's really important for even like with us for like one another, like creating that safety for a woman, that she doesn't have to have sex with you for you to honor and respect her. Because nowadays a lot of guys, like the minute you turn them down, they're like, oh, she rude, or she, you know what I mean? Like honoring a woman, like if she doesn't want to sleep with you, she is in tune. There's something she knows that you don't know. Like maybe it's because she knows you aren't going to be able to meet certain standards that she has, and that's why. It's nothing against you, y'all just aren't in alignment. You don't fit. Like you're here and she's not, I shouldn't say like you're here and she's here. Are y'all close? No, you're not. You know, and it's nothing against you, your journey. Like everyone's on different journeys. And you know, like, cause even I think about this all the time when I was younger, and I'm grateful to be in this era now where I'm like, oh no, I love turning people down and I love saying no because I know what I want, and being so picky now because like I feel like a lot of times when we're younger we feel like, oh well, I feel like I owe this guy that because he's
I feel like I owe it.
I feel like I owe it to him.
I had
like
to break out of. Like
release that. That is
release.
You ain't
that.
owe nobody. I don't care. You ain't owe nobody none. Unless you want to do it.
That's exactly.
You want to do it. You don't owe nobody nothing. And I think that's even something we have to release. And that's something I had to really release, because especially because of like, you know, like the industry, like being in the industry, even like, you know, that energy is a lot. Like, you know, you feel that. And there's been moments when I've been around certain people and I've really been able to just walk away because I know who I am, what I want, and what this is ain't for me. And I think like standing in that power is standing in the feminine power. And, you know, like having men honoring and respecting that is huge. You know, like if a woman doesn't want to be with you, don't take it personally. Like maybe there's something she knows emotionally that you don't know. Maybe it's a protection for you too, even. Because what if she wants something and you don't, but you still go for it, you know? So I think that's...
And I definitely feel like in the industry as well, women are not honored.
Oh, no.
Women are not honored. No. And it's like, as a woman, you're not invited. You're not. I know that like if you're approaching me, it's in an energy of trying to get what you want to get,
Right.
and you know, trying to be one of many of your women and things like that. So I'm like, when it comes to industry, I'm good. I'm good on it. I'm good on it. Like as a woman, it's too tasking. Like there's no respect.
Right. And I think that's where it kind of breeds even for other women to have that energy towards each other, because when we're in that space and we don't feel safe, we're going to act out of lower vibrational emotions. And so even for me having my baby and stepping back and going on my journey, I'm so grateful to step back, because even when I go in, I'm like, oh, I like learning how to like carry myself in there, but also I wouldn't want to be in that space anymore, because I'm like, none of these men are going to be something I would really want to be around, right? Because like, if they can't honor me in this space, like how would they honor me somewhere else? Or like how are they going to protect me when it really comes to protecting me? Because if they can't emotionally and mentally protect me, like without having sex, I don't want that, you know?
Right.
And I think that's super huge, and you know, like across the board. And I think that's why like in communities we need to have these type of conversations. But and the thing is, the women have to have the conversation, because men are men. They're gonna, if we aren't gonna say it, they're gonna be like, oh hell yeah, give me that, you know? So
Exactly.
like we have to be the ones to say no, like this is what we want, this is where we feel safe, and I'm not coming around if not. And no, like I'm a goddess, so you gotta come with an offering like this.
Right.
What you mean? Oh, you come, so you gotta give me some. Wait, hold up.
Right.
What? Like, what do you mean? You want me? And so, because I'm here, look, when women come to a party, you get elegance, you get grace. Think about it. Everyone in promoters want women there because of the energy they bring. Our portals are for manifesting. Right. We bring abundance. We bring all of that. Like, literally, that is what a woman is. That's why men need women. That's why back in the day in the Bible, if a man didn't have a woman, people are like, what? I'm not going to do business with you. I can't trust you. If he can't treat his woman right. Because his woman, literally, like I said, we receive everything from God directly. Like, we receive the heavens. We receive the ether through us. So if they can't respect that, how are you respecting God? Now that's a whole other conversation.
That's a different conversation.
Look, how are you respecting God if you can't respect a woman?
Right.
Because look, you came from one. But yeah, that's my little,
my little 2 cents. Like, and but it's so valid though, and it's just, you know, men are natural predators, and they hate it. But in the wild, what are predators, right? They're the ones who's chasing the prey.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like as women, like, we're constantly being preyed upon, you know? And as a woman, the strongest thing that I had to learn during this healing journey is it's okay. Like, it's okay to say no.
Right.
It's okay to be rude. You don't have to be sugar sweet plum nice to everyone. Because, you know, women, we're just pressured into being nice, rosy, delicate. You know what I'm saying? That's not feminine energy. I mean, it can be if you do the work to get the honey in the water. But our energy should not have to be of yielding to things that aren't serving us.
Right. And you know, it can even come from like, I think something that to be taught, you know, like we're taught like, oh, be nice, give them a chance. Like, no, if you know right away, like, prior to like when I had my daughter, I would tell people I'm not dating. Like, I think that's a huge season for women to go through it. And I tell my little sister this, I was like, I waited till I was 26 to not date for a whole year, right? And like, that was so important and it needed to happen. I'm out of the situationship I was in prior, and you know what? I'm going back to being single because you know what? Because I'm working on my womb space. I'm working on pulling my energy back to me and grounding me and providing myself all my needs. Because if I can provide all my needs, now I'm safe, you know, like I don't have to go outside to get it. And I'm in my feminine energy because my needs are met. I'm safe.
My needs are met by myself.
By myself. And so, and you know, like I'm not saying that like, oh no, we shouldn't have to depend on like, but if you can meet your needs and you're not like so dependent upon like, oh, this person to protect you, like, but we're naturally need protectors, yes, like we are the divine feminine for that. But you know, there's women who ran this. Like, there's King, the Woman King. Think about it.
Oh, I love that on Netflix. So if y'all haven't watched it, y'all need to watch Woman King.
So, you know, like, we have that energy, too, you know? Like, if we have to do it, we have to do it. We bear children. Like, if we weren't meant to bear children and raise them, we wouldn't be having that. I mean, like, going through that experience itself means we can do anything. And so I think just even like knowing that, tapping into that, being like, no, this is me, and getting to know yourself, taking time for you and yourself, because even as nurturers, and I struggled in this, and I realized this in my last situationship, and that's why I'm like, you know what, that's probably why it didn't work out, because I started over nurturing there and not for me enough.
Over nurturing.
Like being like, oh, I want to nurture you. I'm over nurturing you because I'm not nurturing myself anymore. And I think by like realizing like we're natural nurturers, yes, but the balance of nurturing and nurturing ourselves, like we need nurtured, you know, like we need nurtured. And by nurturing ourselves, that helps us nurture that feminine energy to ourselves. And that creative, being feminine, creation. That's what that sacral chakra is. So being creative, like your podcast. You're a businesswoman, but you're out here and you're creative. You're a businesswoman, but you have books. You're a businesswoman, but you know what I mean? Like that's you tapping into your feminine. And I love seeing that. And like just that example you lead, like, you know, like you balance that so well. You're masculine, you're into law, you're into the justice system, but you also have your creation, like here, and you have the healing hour. And I think that's so important for women to see. So it's awesome to know you and to see your reflection of that and your balance of the masculine and the feminine.
And I would not be able to like properly tap into my creativity because I found that my feminine energy was actually being blocked by over giving. Over nurturing, like you were saying. Like I'm in a season of intentional singleness right now.
Amen.
Intentional, and not in a lonely sense. Like intentional isn't like I don't gotta answer nobody, and not just to like go on dates with multiple men. Like that's not the purpose of intentional singleness. It's literally just to tap into my own creativity. And I was over nurturing. I was over nurturing the person I was with. I was so concerned about our needs because as a feminine woman, it feels great to nurture someone else.
Oh, right.
It feels so great to make people feel safe. It makes so. It's just a different energy making, you know, a house into a home.
Right.
But during that process, I'm not nurturing my own feminine energy. I'm thrown off. Energetically, I'm thrown off trying to balance my energy while being affected by your energy. I didn't, you know, my creativity I was frozen. Like, I was frozen. And so as soon as I literally removed myself and started focusing on healing my feminine energy, that's whenever the creativity came. That's whenever the podcast idea came. That's whenever I started putting things into fruition. Because it's like, I have to look out for me. Right. Because my relationships have shown me, and just relations with even family members, like even like my own dad. Like it showed me that nobody's gonna take care of me like me. Right. Nobody's gonna know my needs and wants better than me. So why would I, with a half empty cup, take the last bit of water and pour it into your cup to make you full and leave empty handed? Right.
And piggybacking off of like you're saying that like when you know your needs and like you can meet your own needs, now you can say, okay, I can meet my own needs. Now if you're gonna come in my life, because divine partnership is that you can say, okay, this is my needs. I know my needs now because I'm not ignoring them for a partnership I'm in. And I feel like that's oftentimes what happens because we're nurturers. We like love nurturing and we love loving so much because we're divine love in physical form. Right. Of course we love to give that out because that's what love wants. But you know, like giving it to yourself first so you can even teach your partner how to love you so y'all can move on that path. So if they stop loving you, that you know that it's no love lost, that you're like, okay, cool, well, this is my love journey. Either you gonna go ride it with me, or you can watch me. Right. You know, and I think that's so important too, because even think about how we're taught. And the one thing I like about like an African spirituality, the goddesses or Orishas, if you weren't right, they would move around. Like, you know, like it's not this concept of like, okay, well, I'm tied here. No, because the alignment isn't there. Yeah. You know, that love alignment isn't there. Now, do I believe in that there can be alignments that go forever in a time and eternity? Yes. But again, we have to nurture that feminine energy, that love energy, that, okay, I love me, so I can love you. Because at the end of the day, in all things, we can only love from how much we love ourselves. And so regardless of no matter how much love we're pouring out, we will never feel fulfilled enough. And we may even seek that in our partner, seek that in our family, seek that in our career, seek that in anything. We will never feel fulfilled enough until we sit down and be like, no, I am a goddess. I have creation. I'm the vessel. Like, source moves through me. Once we sit there, once we know that, once we're like, no, this is me. This is who I am. This is my purpose on this world. No matter how big or small, no matter if you have 1 million people listening to your podcast, or if you have 500 people, or if you have one person, you know, like, you're changing the world because you put the energy out there, and now it's in the ether and the whole world shifted. So I think, like, understanding that and tapping into our creativity is, like, actually, like, the biggest part. Like, loving and creativity is the biggest part of the divine feminine.
A word. That was just so insightful. I feel this is such a powerful conversation. And again, like, I just want to thank you so much for, like, just coming and speaking to us, because I just know that you hold so much spiritual knowledge, and I'm like, no, I need to get this girl on this show because she needs to get it out.
Well, thank you. You pushed me. Thank you. Like, you inspire me so much. I want you to know, and you're so inspiring to so many other women. But like I said, by seeing you do everything, I'm like, okay, if she can do it, and she's younger than me, I'm like, what are you doing? So thank you, and thank you for giving me this opportunity, because you helped me tap back into my creativity and be like, wait, hold on, let me.
Yes, and I feel like that's what it's all about, like, being around other divine feminines, and, you know, just bouncing that power, bouncing that energy off of each other, like, bouncing those ideas, and just coming together to build, like, a safe community to where we're thriving, we're providing, we're healing.
Right.
And so, but yes, like, again, just thank you so much, and it's been such a divine talk with you, Miss Faith.
Thank you.
And then if you want to let the audience know where they can find you, if you have any upcoming business ventures or anything else, like, girl, like, just promote yourself real quick. Plug it in.
Well, thank you again. Like I said, like, I'm so grateful to be here in this opportunity. This is, like, the best. It's so divine. But my IG is Faith, Faith, Oshun, Oschum. That's where you can find me. Pop in. You can see when I'm going to release my book of poems and all that. So it talks about actually divine feminine in it. So you all can see that when that's popping off. And again, thank you for this opportunity. I'm so excited. I'm so proud of you. So
thank you so much. Well, thank you, Faith, and thank you all for listening to another episode